Now my next phase was trying to understand something simple. Who was speaking? And what exactly were they trying to warn me about? The sound spoke in rhythms, almost deliberate. For a moment I even joked to myself, have I become the modern-day Samuel? Is God trying to call me and I just cannot hear? I laughed at the thought. But trust me, it was not funny. You should have seen me when I walked back to my bed after the silence. I moved like a defeated snake crawling back into its cave. I did not sleep that night. Not because of the knocking, but because of what I had realized. Fear changes when it becomes a warning. When something tries to scare you, your instinct is to run. But when something tries to warn you, your instinct is to listen. Day 8 came. Life had to continue. So I tried to forget the encounter from the previous night and prepare myself for work. Being the introvert that I am, work was simple. Just me, my desk, and my thoughts, mind you. I had just moved to this town after getting the job. For me, it was supposed to be a new beginning. Peace. The house I lived in before, we were 7 of us sharing the same space. Under one roof. God, you don't wish 7 different personalities. 7 different noises. 7 different lives colliding every day. So when I moved into this quiet house in Hidden Hills complex, I celebrated the silence. Finally, my own space. And if I'm honest, I had another reason for leaving. A few days before moving, I walked in on my spouse in the bedroom. With another woman. That was the end of everything. No shouting. No drama. Just silence. And when this job opportunity came, I took it as my escape. A chance to bury the memory too and start again. That evening when I returned home, the past was not the only thing waiting for me. I sat on the edge of the bed staring at the photographs spread across the floor. I had left them last night. Every picture inside that box was that of me sleeping, reading, standing by the kitchen sink. One even looked like it had been taken from behind. My hand lifted in the air as if I was reaching for something. Moments of my life captured without my knowledge, and yet something about them felt wrong. Not just the fact that someone had taken them, but the feeling that the photographs were trying to tell me something. One picture caught my attention. In it, I was smiling, wearing a gown I didn't even recognize. That was when I began thinking about something I had once studied. You see, I was once one of Wits University's newest dropouts, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry. When my parents could no longer afford the next semester's fees, I had to leave. Getting this job felt like my escape from what I called the prison of life. But some lessons never leave your mind. The human brain does something fascinating when fear enters the room. It begins searching for patterns, searching for explanations, searching for danger. Deep inside the brain there is a small structure called the amygdala. It is the part of us responsible for detecting fear. And when the amygdala wakes up, the entire body listens. The heart begins to race, the ears become sharper, and the mind begins to notice things it would normally ignore. That night, I noticed everything fear. The refrigerator humming, the wind pressing against the windows, the wooden floor breathing beneath the house. Every sound felt like a message. But fear does not always make things clearer. Sometimes fear makes the mind begin to create meaning where there may be none. I tried to reason with myself. Maybe the photographs were old though. They looked exactly unbubbly. I looked exactly at the bed duvet on the picture. My own almost the same, just mine was a bit darker than that one. The pictures one thought sprinted through. Yes, maybe. The previous owner had hidden them. The knocking was birds flying the night. No, maybe pipes would. Air pressure inside the walls. But fear does something so fun at times. It makes silence louder at exactly 2 a.m. This time I had even set an alarm. I wanted to be ready, and as if the house had been waiting for me, my prediction were on point again. 3 knocks. Knock, knock, knock. This time, I didn't freeze. You're probably wondering what I did. I listened. The sound was not beneath the floor. It was not outside. It was closer. Much closer, inside the walls. And suddenly something strange happened inside my mind. The fear I felt was no longer panic. It was awareness. To go deeper on the brain enlightenment, when there is danger, certain parts in withing are activated. It activates something called hypervigilance. Hypervigilance is when your senses become more sharper. You want to hear more, or you begin noticing things you never noticed before. Small details, shadows, movements, even the way air moves through a room. Your nervous system also releases what is known as the fight or flight response. And in that moment, I noticed something I had completely ignored before. The photographs. They were not taken from random places. Every single one had been taken from the same angle. The same corner of the room. Slowly, I turned my head and looked at the wall beside the wardrobe. The knocking came again. 3 times knock. Knock, knock. This time the sound did not echo. It was like a vibration, like something knocking from the other side of the wall. This time I walked slowly toward the wall. Tracing the sound, every step felt heavier than the last. My heart was racing, but my mind had already made a decision. Fear was no longer telling me to run. Fear was telling me to look closer. Because right now, it felt like it was me versus the world. I pressed my ear against the wall again, silence. Then suddenly, a faint movement. Not a knock this time. A shift, like something adjusting its weight in the darkness. And in that moment, a terrifying thought entered my mind. The photographs had been taken from inside these walls, which meant only one thing. Simone had been watching me, not from outside the house, but from inside it. From the rooftop pause, and then I heard a slow breath, like a cough, on the other side. And in that moment, I realized something chilling. There was a stranger inside this house, and whatever was happening was only just beginning. And since I had already paid my rental contract in full to an agent I could no longer reach, the truth was simple. The house and I were now stuck with each other. I didn't have all the answers. I continued checking. Then a little bit of silence. Now as thing became certain. I was in for a very long ride, and if you are listening to this story, then I invite you to walk through it with me. Because sometimes the most dangerous place a person can find themselves in is not a haunted house. It's something much very deeper than that.